It's an interesting one. Okay, so habits, right? So what's a habit? It's something you don't give any thought to. It's subconscious, unconscious. It's automatic programming. Okay, so the way you tie your shoes, automatic habit, right? The way you drive a car didn't used to be automatic, but do you remember the first driving lessons you took? Maybe you're doing them right now. And that mental, like the cognitive function to actually get the car to go, like the checklist you had to run through, sitting in the car seat, getting the seatbelt over you, all the instruments in front of you, doing the indicator tests, making sure the rearview mirror is okay, making sure that it's in park, the handbrake's on, all of those things. And I was sweating when I first learned to drive because it was so much to remember, let alone being on the road navigating around cars. Then all of a sudden you get to a point where what? You reach unconscious competency, okay? And that's the state of mastery in a way, but a way that your brain just looks after you, yeah? So you're driving along the road and you got somewhere and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, that whole time I wasn't even thinking about where I was going. Has that happened to you? It's definitely happened to me. I've driven for ages where I've gone, oh my God, I don't remember like avoiding cars, taking over cars. I don't remember like almost hitting that kangaroo. What? I mean, we have a kangaroo problem right in Australia. It's really good meat. We have a lot of them. The point is that to reach that level requires a certain amount of, I suppose, discipline, exertion of willpower. Of course, you've got to be, goal-driven, I suppose, outcome-orientated, results-driven, that sort of thing. But you also have to give a lot of time into what you do with your dancing or any skill that you're trying to develop to make it to the point where it's unconscious competency. And I guess what I want to refer to today here is habits. So I want you to examine your own habits when it goes to dancing. So for example, as a teacher, as a studio owner, when I watch people come in, and this is something that I learned from, this is a bit random, right? So there's a book by Stella Adler on the actors. Oh, what's it called? I'll just have a look, actually. Can't remember the name. Stella Adler. She was famous because she taught Marlon Brando like how to act. And what's her book? So the book, The Art of Acting. That's right. Yeah, thought it was The Art of something. Anyways, Stella Adler, The Art of Acting, and she was a famous acting coach, actress herself. Again, taught Marlon Brando, many people. She was one of the top coaches or acting teachers you could go to. And her father instructed her when she was younger to watch how people walk. This is one of the stories from the book. So she would go outside and watch how people would walk. Did some people have a limp? Did some people have a certain way that one hand moved more than the other? And by noticing how people walked, she could take one element and then keep that in her mind for a future character she might portray. So there might be, so I want you to try this yourself. Watch how people walk around you. Go out into the street and you'll think everyone's walking, but no two people walk exactly the same. You might think, well, that's obvious. Go and watch how different people walk, right? Some people's legs are more open, their feet are more turned out. Their shoulders, of course, more slumped, more upright, faster, slower. And you'll notice that these things actually matter when it comes to, say, creating a character. This happens a lot with dancing too. Like, we don't really realize it, but if you look at top dancers and how they walk and hold themselves, it's very different to how a social dancer might hold themselves. And, there's something in that if you want to pay attention to where you want to go. But if we go back to the idea of habits, everything we sort of learned in our life comes through a series of, I suppose, what is the idea? Triggers, cues, and then repetition, right? So you're repeating the same thing again and again, and then you formulate a habit. Now, this is good if you have the right habits in the beginning. So when you're learning to dance, there are a few things you need to get right. One of the first things you need to get right is, of course, how you use your feet. And there's certain basic elements within your feet that if you get them correct in the beginning, make your life way easier in the long run, okay? And if you want to know what those things are, write it in the window. I'll let you know. But if you come to one of my classes, you will hear me say the same things again and again. Close your feet, right? Lower before you step. Change weight, right? These things matter. And they seem really obvious when you've heard them 600 times. But if you're not getting it until the 1,000th time, you need to keep hearing it. Because these habits matter. And we want to get to a point of unconscious competency, right? Which is on the road to, say, mastery. But these good habits that we want to set up in the beginning are very, very important. So as a studio owner, when I watch people come in, each week, the dancers I've taught for 1 year, 10 years, right? they have got the same habit. They'll sit in the same place in the studio. They will take their shoes off in the same order. They will do the same exact routine warming up. They will do the same pattern warming up. That's if they warm up, right? See, that's a habit, isn't it? And so the time people arrive, so I know people that will arrive almost precisely 1 minute after the lesson starts. I know some people that will arrive 6 minutes just before the lesson starts. And it's no accident. This is how habits serve us, or they don't serve us, right? Because you'd imagine if you come late, you're already flustered, you're not in the best mind space, you haven't warmed up, you haven't got yourself in a position to optimize your own learning. So I guess that's why people say respect my time, be on time, etc., etc. But it's detrimental to you more than anyone else, right? So these are the things I want you to be aware of as you go through the week. What habits do you have that are serving you and not serving you? And we all have them, right? So I'm not wagging my finger at you. I'm not asking you to make any radical shifts. But for myself, so for example, right now it's a Sunday, and I've come in and I was debating, do I go live, do I not? But I've missed you guys. I've wanted to come in for a while. Hello, Peter, how are you? And I've wanted to actually be able to share some information, but that in itself is a habit, right? Coming into work on a day that is typically a day off. And why is it a day off, right? Because it's a cultural habit, isn't it? It's a Sabbath to religious folk. It's a day of rest for everyone else, right? It's a day we prepare for the week, but why, right? It's group habit, isn't it? So if everyone else worked on a Sunday, we'd all work on a Sunday, right? So these are the things that we want to be aware of. What are the things that are going to serve you, and what are the things that are not going to serve you, okay? Now, sometimes you could be a bit militaristic or a bit monastic in this sense, and that tequila shot, that sixth one, is not going to serve you tomorrow, but what the hell, right? You only live once, off you go. So, go for gold. I guess from my perspective, just as a coach, right, and being your mentor and guide in this wild space we call dancing, be aware that these habits that you set up early, whether it comes to a technical foundation, whether it comes to a practice foundation, or a way that you approach your lessons and learning, they compound over time. So if you are late 1 minute, 1 week, you might think it doesn't matter. You compound that by 60 weeks, right? That's an hour that you've missed. That's just 1 minute. Not, imagine if that was 5. That's 300 minutes, isn't it? So you've lost a lot of time in that moment just because of being late. And not to mention that if you were, say, 10 minutes early, you've given yourself 600 minutes extra in that year or that 60 weeks to do what? Prepare your mind, to get yourself better, to move your body, to prepare yourself. And what I always tell students is that you're downloading information, right? So you're upgrading your system, you're downloading new information at the same time. And if you put yourself in the right mind frame, you learn more rapidly and faster. And because of that, you actually compound it even more. So not only are you gaining more time in the relative terms of turning up early, you are also compounding your learning, which is something many people don't understand when it comes to adult learning, particularly, okay? You can accelerate things. And the acceleration is what I sort of love. I'm sort of obsessed with this, and I've noticed that it's harder for me to unfuck someone's dancing if they've come in after 20 years of bad habits than it is to get someone who's come in and they're just uncoordinated, don't know what they're doing, not very well balanced, but, they don't have the bad habits, do they? They don't have the wiring in their neuromuscular system. So we don't have to untangle that. And that could be quite difficult. So anyways, what I would suggest you do this week as you're going through this content, this idea, is just examine, I'm sitting in the same seat every time. I am early. I'm specifically on time today. No, I am late again. Damn it, I want to change that. And notice how you practice when you get up out of the seat. Do you just shake one leg, right? Just your right ankle, roll that shit around, then get into class? Do you get on your phone and hit the Twitter or whatever the hell and threads and just smash comments? Or what are you actually doing mentally? And then how are you warming up physically? And then before you dance with your partner, I have a 7-step process that I talk people through in Vaughan Mastery Academy, how to set yourself up properly for training and practice which actually matters quite a lot. But how are you actually doing that? Like, what's actually happening for you? And okay, by the way, if you've got a question for me, whack it in here. What's this? Hello, Trisha. Yes. I'm since remember to dance told me I'm hardworking. My life teacher grandfather. Yeah, good. Yeah, shout out to your grandfather. That's awesome, right? Like people that. So my mom she did her medals back in the 60s. Okay, she's still kicking around today, which is awesome. And so dancing for a lot of people has a really rich lineage with a lot of people. Do you know what stood the test of time? Technique, habits, right? That hasn't changed, honestly, in like 100 years. So, I mean, 100 years, maybe 80. Okay. So, anyways, I digress. I want to thank you for being here. Make sure that if you do have a question for me, shoot it in. I'll leave it run for a couple more minutes. And just, if you are live, hit the like button. Make sure you share this with friends. It just helps me out with building the channel. And it's been good. What's one of the habits that I think I've changed in... Well, I'm always aware of this lesson, right? Because it can be complicated. I mean, what habit do you change, right? There's so many that you can look at. There's so many that can be demanding of your attention. And you don't want to change everything. So when I coach people in, say, life coaching or that sort of thing, often people will come to me with like a wish list of stuff they want to change. And I'm like, dude, let's get it right to begin with. First of all, you're not broken. Okay, there's nothing wrong with you per se, barring any mental problems that you actually might want to address. But let's assume you're not broken. What is this wish list about? And often it's like, well, I'm not rich or wealthy because of these habits or these things that I'm not doing. I don't get up early. I don't make my bed. I don't go to the gym enough. I don't eat enough legumes in my diet. Okay. My shoelaces are the wrong color, right? So you got all these like this wish list, and that's just in one area. Then in lifestyle and relationships, and then in dancing, what's wrong with your dancing, and that's just a list. So the thing is like, what do you correct? Where do you start? You think, I just want to change like 16 of these habits all in one go. If you do that, you are going to be so stressed out. You're going to be overwhelmed, and then you just quit. It's too hard. Please take my advice on this. It's way too difficult if you try to change 3, 4, 5, 6 habits that you know of. Not the ones that you think you should do. The ones that you're just like, oh my God, I need to just stop eating a Snickers bar every morning. I have a coffee. Not talking to myself at all. So the whole point is that you're aware of these things and you want to change them and you try to make them all at once. So all of a sudden you're going to the gym. All of a sudden you've quit caffeine. All of a sudden you've stopped... relentlessly calling that friend every time you have an emotional problem. And so those sort of 3 things all in one go, that's actually too much. It's overload. And then all of a sudden, bang, 7, 10, 30 days, 60 days later, you're back to normal. So I would suggest pick one. And in the realm of dancing, pick one for you. Is it showing up a bit earlier? Is it not showing up later? Don't do that. So is it just showing up a little bit earlier? Is it the way that you approach your actual lessons in terms of the mind frame, like dumping the day out of your brain before you walk into the studio, which is something I've asked students to do before. Just empty your brain. The day is done. A new day is beginning. Walk into the studio, with a different mindset. Don't carry the weight of the day in. You could look at the way that you connect with your partner. Okay, the way you hold your partner. The way that you receive information from your coach, because often we get into habits there too. I remember people get very comfortable with me and eventually they think they can start not questioning me, but talking back. And I'm like, I'm not your friend. Like, I'm here to guide you to an outcome. You're not going to like what I tell you sometimes, and that's okay. You be grown about it, and you're paying me for advice. So here it is. That's how you would talk to a friend. That's not how you should talk to me. And so that habit is something that you might want to change too. So be very, very aware of these things because they directly affect your outcome. You think they affect other people's outcomes. They don't. You can't control other people. You can't control what other people do, what other people say. You can't control what other people think of you. You can't get into their headspace and manipulate them to be different. And even if you could, it just works for a little bit of time. Do you and figure out that one habit for you. That is going to be sort of a keystone, right? So a keystone, if you look at a bridge, the old bridges that were built like an arch. The keystone was the final piece that would be put in the middle that would hold the whole bridge together. If you took that out, it would crumble. So what's the keystone habit for you? Is it anything I've mentioned so far, or is it something else that's coming up? Follow your intuition on this too. And sometimes I will ask people to reverse engineer, yeah? So it's good to, by the way, if you're liking this content, make sure you indirectly send it to a friend. But these keystone habits matter, right? Because essentially often there's a hierarchy. Okay, so maybe if you're turning up 10 minutes early, if you're already turning up like 5 minutes early, turning up 10 minutes early may be better. Maybe it's not, because you might waste that 5 minutes. So that may not be a keystone habit. So, but if you're turning up 10 minutes late, turning up 10 minutes early, that's going to be a really good thing for you, right? Another example might be, well, I see this. I've never seen this a thing that people naturally do unless they're trained to do it. And that is warming up effectively. And it seems so obvious, but warming up effectively does not mean just moving your body. That's important. But it's putting yourself in the right psychological, mental state to learn. And then it's also getting yourself connected to your partner. So, and if you don't have a partner that's getting connected to yourself, right? But you have to be trained to do that. So the keystone habit there might be, okay, as soon as you put your shoes on and you get out of the seat, that you get up and you start moving your body differently each time. Then you put on music and you dedicate yourself to do basics for like a minute. Then maybe you do your routine, and that's it. That would change the game. Now, another thing you could do is when you finish a lesson, this is what I would do, is I've still got these books. I think they're floating around here somewhere. Anyway, so these books I'd write notes in, yeah? And at the end of the lesson, I would write out with a pen, not type. Typing is not the same. Your brain does not absorb information from typing the same way as it does from a pen to paper. And I would pen out, top to bottom, the things that I'd learned that lesson that I'm going to integrate in my dancing. Did I integrate them all? No, because not everything was the highest priority. So I would pick the thing that would make the biggest difference. Now, the habit of doing that helps settle any future arguments I'd have with my partner when we went into the next practice session, by the way. So good tip, dudes, right? If you want to win, that's how you win. Okay. You say, it's in the book. Okay, where's your book? Oh, they don't have it. You win. So when I would look at these notes, though, I'd be like, no, I can't do that right now. I'm not there, not there. That one, that thing I have to fix. That would be then the habit to integrate. Now, was it a keystone habit? Not necessarily, but it would often link to a keystone habit. So, for example, my posture would be bad, means that affects my balance. So if I pick something on the lesson that would help my posture, it would help my balance, right? So for a lot of you dancers out there that follow me, you are new to dancing, or you've been in it for maybe I did a survey recently, around 5.7 years is the average amount of time people have been dancing that follow me, and below. Now, in that amount of time, you're an apprentice, right? You're nowhere near mastery at that level, but you've got a good technical grounding and some good skills, hopefully. So posture will still be something you're working on, for sure. But you'll also want to look at other areas. So I ask you, what are your keystone habits? And Sarah, let's just whack you in here. What's up? Every morning I watch videos of skilled passion dancers on Instagram. It's helped shape my dancing, helps me learn quicker. I get shown a new step and I'm like, aha, I remember this. I've learned very early. It's not just about the steps when you're in. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that, Sarah. And by the way, if anyone else has a question or Q&A just before I wrap up, add that in. Okay, so Sarah, that's really good. That's one of the reasons why I made a channel and I put on some videos called Dance Decoded, which I'm happy to do some more on. But the main thing is that goes into your unconscious mind. When you map dancing, if you watch enough of it, it starts to seep into you. And I definitely encourage students to watch. Now, the danger with current dancing is that there's stuff you will watch that's a bit, it's very high level, right? So it may not be applicable to if someone's a beginner, intermediate, or advanced dancer, but it's aspiring. So the thing is, you've got to be careful what you watch. And the main thing is that you take away one thing from that. So in terms of habits, if you watch a video, Sarah, and it's on Instagram, you're like, oh, I love it. Don't watch all of it. Watch one part of it. Look at the way the lady moves her back. Look at the way that she expresses or emotes to her partner. You might like, oh my God, she oozes sexuality. She uses beauty. Man, she's like a lioness, or maybe he's like a fucking tiger, right? Like, there's something that'll stand out to you. It could be the way they use their feet or their legs. And every dancer has their skill that they're really, really, you just look at them, you go, oh, I love that. What is that? And then that's the thing that in the studio, you go and try and apply. And I would do this with gentlemen, like the way they would move their arms, the way they would move their hands, the way they would hold themselves, the way they would walk and carry themselves. And the dissection of that adds up together. It's a really cool thing you're doing that. So keep that up and keep going, okay? So last thing, what is the habit you're going to do? What is the thing you're going to work to make a better version of? Because that's all we can do, okay? So before I head out, I'm just going to play some music, let this roll, see if anyone has any other questions. It could be a bit random. Most of my audience is so all over the world. They're probably asleep right now. So feel free to add it post video. It's been great coming live with you though. So let's get some music. Nice vibes. Beatrice, I'm gonna bring you in. I'm gonna send you a link. Let's see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna try something I haven't done for a while. We can only try when we're live, right? This is the time to do it. Where is my link? Okay, I might try and bring this in. And I'll just let everybody... Okay, I'll put a link in the window. You know what? Let's try this. I'll just keep going live for a little bit. I can always cut this out later. I'm gonna put a link in the window here. Okay. There is a link here for you to click. Beatrice, come in live with me. Okay. Boom. That's it there. Let's talk about that. Why not? Let's see how it goes. Oh, we want to do this for ages. So there you go. Bring your video on. Make sure you've got a microphone. Let's go. Nobody cares what you look like. Get in. Anyways, that's for anyone who wants to join. Let's see. Link is in the chat window, baby. Is it normal to get saturated with the dance studio? You can come in without video anyway if you want to. Let's see how it rolls. By the way, if anyone else has a question, feel free to click that link. Just video on, mic on. Let's go. Let's see. Amazing. Let me see if I can... This is a great way to just do things live. Oh, what's up, Beatrice?
No, not on my best. Time to go to bed.
You're doing great. Look at you. It's midnight. Where are you at the moment?
Just in bed.
That's so
like
sick.
literally, I was about to fall asleep, and then I saw your live. Like, this is it.
Hey, great. That's all. Well, listen, you've been following me for years, so thank you for that. That's awesome. So
Yes, I love it. I love it. I really apply a lot of the things you say in my life, and it's pretty good.
yeah, that's awesome. And I know you always contribute to things. So, you know, let's just inspire people by the bunny behind you and the fact that it don't matter what you look like as long as you do the work.
Oh,
So what do you mean? What do you mean here? Like, it's normal to get saturated of a dance studio. I think you've had this problem before, right? You do you get overwhelmed
yeah.
with studios and then need to stop, or what?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's the same studio. I've always been with the same studio. And I don't know if it's because it was after a competition, and after, usually I compete, and then right after I feel totally empty. Like, I don't want this anymore. I don't like it. I want to stop. And I don't know why. It just drags everything out of me. And it
Sure.
was a very simple, it was a team match, nothing fancy, nothing big. And then I start looking at every single issue that bothers me. It's like everything just turned into something big. Like, I just don't like the way he talks to me. I don't like the way my instructor is teaching me, and he's not paying attention to me, and he pays attention more to the other. Like, everything stank. It was bad. So
Mm,
I
mm,
haven't been there for 2 weeks already, which is weird, but I need it. I don't know where I'm going back. I am going back because I have a lot of lessons still,
mm.
but
Is that a
it's just
normal is that a normal pattern that you find? Like, because it seems over the years I've seen your comments like it will be you might do an event or something and then you withdraw a little bit when it's finished, or you
yes.
look for the next thing. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, it sounds like it is. It after a competition.
Hmm.
But this one was meaningless because it was just a team match, and then we saw the other team and they were like double the size of us. So we knew we were losing. That's it. I mean, we're just like, okay, just have fun here. We're gonna lose.
Yeah.
And then well, of course we lost.
So what do you
And
what do you
after
like?
that I felt
So why do you
like
dance
empty.
then? What's the thing that you want? What do you like doing with your dancing?
I was hoping I can compete in
Hmm.
a big one. But and I was saving little by little from, I don't know, since last year I started, saving a little bit. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I realized I had like half of the money that one big competition cost. They were talking about $9,000,
Hmm.
and it was way off my budget,
Sure,
too
sure, yeah.
much.
Yeah,
So
so
I lost
so
it.
so what do you do? So what do you love about dancing then? What's the reason you dance? Because you're obviously like me. You like to punish yourself for dancing. So there's lots of suffering involved.
I love it. And watching my videos of me competing, it's torturous. It's the best thing to do if you want to feel bad.
Yeah, but that's how you know you're not a full-on narcissist, right? You look at your own dancing, you're like, okay, wow, I can't watch that.
Yes, exactly. Like, have no problem with that. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to compete. I want to look amazing, even if I'm not. I want to stay in bronze four right now, and I want to stay there, but be like technique, like amazing. Like, I can do 10,000 steps, but I can do the ones I do in a high level that everybody will say, "Oh my gosh, that looks professional."
So
That's
how
what I want to.
so how do you get there if you keep pulling out of training and classes?
I don't know. I just got crossed mentally, emotionally,
Hmm.
and physically. I was exhausted because in my job I have to work teaching way more classes than normal.
Hmm.
I guess, I don't know, an eclipse of everything, and I got so sick of everything.
Yeah, and
So
that's
I
that's that's part of the challenge. Is okay. So when you mentioned the word empty, okay,
Mhm.
there's a within like your our brains, okay, and I'm not a neuroscientist, so this is definitely amateur hour right here. But with regards to that empty feeling, and this is very common amongst athletes, professionals of any sort. So let's say this is common in startup businesses. You get your pitch sorted, everything's exciting, the endorphins are great, like dopamine, you're feeling high, like get everything
Mhm.
ready, you present the pitch, you win the business, and there's a crash. And the crash wipes people out. It wipes out a lot of people, actually. That crash is what you're talking about, right? This empty feeling.
Yes.
Because I just want to talk about this one aspect, so to speak, at the moment. And okay, so that is a depletion of your. So dopamine doesn't come and go; it's always being released, right? It's a neurotransmitter, and
Mhm.
so it's responsible for feeling good, reward, motivation is what it's from. But there's also this other side that is not often talked about, which is the pain. So for example, if you eat, have you ever felt this? I've got some chocolate here. Okay, don't judge me. I got some. Look at that, 95%. This shit is strong. Okay, it's very strong. But
But,
like
that's nothing. I go higher.
you go
Yep.
higher, right? I'm going pure 100%. Listen, the thing about chocolate though is that it releases dopamine. Okay, so let's say
Yep.
from a baseline up, 200% release
Mhm.
of dopamine or whatnot. There's a crash that's equal to that just after you've had it, and it's a pain effect. And people don't know about this. They don't talk about it, but you'll know it because you try to eat more chocolate and get the same feeling from that first bite. And drug addicts often refer to that as chasing the dragon. Okay, your first high is always the best. With dancing, the same reward centers exist. So whether you're smoking crack, okay, getting $1 million deal, or your first business deal, uh, you're going to be always trying to chase a certain high, but you also have to realize that once those feelings and chemicals change because of the release, okay, you've done the comp, what happens is you have more pain, especially if you don't get the outcome you wanted. So, for example, if you go into a comp and you do worse than you thought, oh man, like you're going to be in a lot of pain. And so it's very easy to back off. It's very, very easy. And so I guess this is where it comes back to recognizing your own patterns. So you and we have patterns, right, of behavior. So Beatrice, for you, what are some patterns that ring out to you that oh my God, like if I keep doing those, I'm not going to become a recognized dancer for myself? Like what are some of those things?
That what is that I what?
What is a pattern that you
That
recognize in yourself?
I
Like, are you seeing that you do a comp, you don't do well, you feel bad, then you leave the studio for 2 weeks, for
uh
example?
yeah, it's like I need to feel that rush again
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to go and feel like I'm wasting my time. And my mind isn't going to be, my heart isn't going to be, I need to be there, the whole me, to feel what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
to
Okay.
just go and say, I am doing it. So I told you, the good thing is that I still can dance because I'm teaching Zumba. So I do get to express physically that, and I love it. And, but just going to the studios, like I'm punishing them because I don't want to go because I'm mad at them. I don't want to give them the
Why are you
pleasure
mad at
of seeing
Why
me.
are you mad at them?
I felt that, they were giving other people more attention than me. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm, as a person, the same as a student. And I don't like that because I'm always joking. I'm always laughing. I'm the clown there. I love being like that. I just
Mm-hmm.
laugh to come and everything has to find a funny side.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think is that people maybe think I'm always okay. I don't need anything. I'm guessing that's why.
Mm-hmm.
The is the joke I have with my instructor is that when we would dance bachata together, he always kind of stays away from me, and bachata is supposed to be
It's very, very
close.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, like very close. And when I get closer, he always lifts his arm to do a left turn. And I always joke about it. It's like, you see, I just come close and immediately he does the turn and does the turn. I'm like, come on, just dance closer. What's your problem?
Mm.
And then it just does basic steps with me. And I don't know why. And that's why I dance that bachata. I dance with the other instructor, which is, all crazy and loves it. But then I saw him dancing with another student. She's very new. She's very good, but it's new. It's a few months in the studio. And then he does all kind of tricks and dancing and moving. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, seriously. And I told him, and he said, no, you're just seeing other things. Not, there are steps I've never done with you. I didn't even know you can do that.
So you feel he was prioritizing someone else over you in that regard. So just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to dance more with this person closer than that other person.
Yes, but I don't think he does it knowingly. I think it's unconsciously doing it.
Yeah, but we all do
So
that as dance coaches. I'm just going to lay it out there now. Like, it's not necessarily a conscious choice, but there's definitely people that you don't want to dance close with, and there's others you do. Depends on their skill, because you can injure yourself as a coach, right? Like, and also to be fair, there's just some people to be brutal, there's just some people you might like more than others. That's the same with you. There's coaches you will like more than more than the others, right?
yeah, for
So,
some
and
things,
there's
yeah,
coaches as they're
for
like,
things
I
the other
like
one.
this student more than that, but they don't say that. They just and it shouldn't be preferential in that sense. You always should be professional. You always dance with the student. You always help them out, but the level, oh, that's a whole different ballgame. But I guess it comes back to you. Like, what do you actually want? Because if you really want to be what you told me in the beginning, which is people to recognize you and to be professional, for that to happen, like you got to get out in your own way, right? Like, there's so much. The problem with dancing, particularly from the I'm not a female, so I don't understand the female perspective fully, but there's a lot about how you feel, and this is the problem between men and women with dancing. Is a lot of the times men don't care about the feeling. It's like we got to push through and train, right? And it's the training aspect that makes you better. But if you don't feel like training, then you don't train. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter how you feel, you need to train, right? So it's like this battle. It's a battle. So do you really want that? Because you know what? You could be just chasing something that doesn't make sense for you, you know?
I lost a little bit of the passion knowing that I'm not going to compete in a big competition. It already happened last week, the one I was hoping I can do in California, but way over the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And that, yeah, it did drag me a little bit. Like, ugh, I wish I could do. That's what I wish I could do. Now I'm just planning for a trip and said, okay, that the savings are going to go somewhere else that lasts a little longer than 3 days.
Well, you're hitting on something very important that a lot of dancers struggle with, right? Which is finances and dancing. And finances and dancing comes back to belief systems around money, because like you've got to create, like you've got there's a way of creating beliefs around money that help you, and then there's ones that don't. And it's not really talked about a lot, but it's something that I had a coach for myself that helped me with my dancing, but also helped me with the money game in dancing as well. And it's up to you. Like, if you want to make it happen, I mean, do you believe that you can make those things happen if you want to make them happen?
Compete. I just have to lower the standard a little bit. Just shoot for competitions that are a little smaller and
Mm-hmm.
closer,
Yeah,
which is
great.
going to be team match. It's going to be like another team match, but a little. And I
Yeah.
think that's when I have to convince myself that it's okay, that I'm still going to prepare myself like any big competition because it is a competition.
That's how you should treat it. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Like, okay, so you got standards, right? And expectations. They're different things,
Yeah,
right? They're different things. So maybe you've got standards that are standards are important, right? So you want a certain quality from your dancing, but the expectations are where trouble can happen, right? So maybe your expectations are set at a bar that's just unattainable, and that doesn't
yeah.
mean that you drop the quality. You understand? Like, you don't drop the quality. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So if I did a local competition, of course it's not going to feel the same as Blackpool, but I would not want to train differently in that sense. I want to make sure that I present myself the best I can as a person. You know what I mean? Like, do the best I can for that competition. And because again, you're setting the bar. It's like relationships, right? Surely it's like when you put on someone else your high expectations, that's a problem, right? Straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to meet them, they're your expectations. But standards are different, like, do you know what I mean? So what is the standard for you can produce in your dancing? I think that's a very good question. And then where is that best applied that doesn't push you out of the space to not dance at all? Because I think that's a great space. I've had students where they've had that issue where they overcommitted financially to try and do competitions and things, and it didn't align with them deep down, right? Honestly,
Mhm.
competition, dance sport is for a very small group of people, but that doesn't make them better. It's for a small group of people that are fucking stupid sometimes and really insane on other times and really don't want to do anything else but dance, right? So when you look at the top echelon of dancing, okay, that's like the top echelon of anything. They've devoted their life to that. But that doesn't mean that's what you want to align with, right? Because the sacrifice to that is so big. So for you, how can you meet the standard of your dancing in a way that doesn't like kill the quality of your life? What does that look like?
First, I need to convince myself that a smaller competition is okay, because that in my head is like, it's like I defeated. Like, no, I gave up, and I'm just gonna go to the local ones.
So that's
But
an ego thing, right?
I need to convince myself.
That's an ego problem. You know, you understand that, yeah?
Yeah, it's like you had a goal and you crushed it, so now you need a smaller goal. Kind of, that's how it feels. Just like defeated. I couldn't do it. Now, okay, let's just do a tiny goal. Okay. Kind of. Then, when am I going back to the studio? I don't know yet.
Well, listen. Here's the thing: if you've got a goal that's up here, it's like I want to go to Blackpool. You have to change your belief systems to match that. You can't say to yourself like, "Oh, I don't earn enough money. I don't have enough money." You're never going to get to Blackpool. So now you've got goals not aligning with your own outcomes, right? So you're just shooting yourself. It's called sabotage, right? You're shooting yourself in the foot. So there's nothing wrong with doing comps at this level, that level. The levels are almost, in a way, in my head, irrelevant because it's about the dancer, right? It's about you personally. You just get sort of brainwashed thinking that, oh, I should do this, I should do that. But no, you should do what pushes you, okay? The quality of you. Like, here's the thing. You know you're doing really well when you win every comp at that level all the time. That's what I tell my students. I'm like, how do we know when to elevate you? You keep going to the same level of competition, you win all the time. That's how I did it, right? Like I kept winning the same level, fuck, bang, next level. Now we're at the bottom, and then you got to get to the top of that and win that. And then you know next level. You understand?
Yeah.
And as that happens, you change your beliefs as well because you're trying to push yourself beyond what you're normally used to doing, yeah? But then the ego gets involved. It's like, no, I should do big comps only. But then to do that, I need 10 grand, I need 20 grand, I need that. That's a big jump, right? You know, like it's sometimes it's not unrealistic. It's just it's out of what you want fundamentally because you'd be doing it otherwise, right? You'd be doing the training. Here's one of the things, Beatrice, is really important to know. I should not have to tell a dancer who wants to dance, okay? So I should not have to tell them you need to train more. Why? Because somebody who really wants it will be in that studio. They'll be knocking on my door saying, I want to do more training. I'll shut up for you tonight. I'll open the door for you tomorrow. That's how I know that person is going to really go far, okay? Most people don't do that. So now you're at a place where you got to find what's good for you and it's going to push you a little bit, but not so much that you get disheartened and you don't want to do it anymore. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess what then in the next couple of months are you going to do differently to help yourself? Because we could keep talking about this for a while, so I'll have to wrap up soon. But
decide I need to go back to the studio. Start maybe with a group class and then a private lesson. Hopefully next week. I still don't feel it.
Yeah, but you're waiting on your feelings a bit too much. So
I know. Yeah, I'm an artist. Everything has to come from inside.
That's okay. What you're doing with dancing is you're training technique, really, which is not an artistic pursuit. That is not a feeling-based objective. So, for example, it's the same as going to a gym. You really, and you can disagree with this if you like, but you never wait to feel right to go to a gym, ever. You just go. You start working out. Your brain rewards you with dopamine and endorphins, as in it releases more. The reward then after, I mean, when's the last time you went for a workout or a run or something, you felt good, right? And you didn't feel good beforehand. It's like most of the time, yeah? Okay. So have you had that feeling before?
I teach at a gym every day, so sometimes I go like, I don't want to teach, and then I'm teaching and they're like, yeah, this is the best. And yeah, it changes completely.
between you and me, all the time, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to fucking be here, and let's go.
Yes.
But I can't remember where I finished. I might have been tired, but I felt amazing, right? Like I really, very rare that I don't think I could ever remember unless I was actually getting sick or something where I've left after that and gone, felt the same. I haven't. So what I'm saying is that when you're looking at training and dance technique, you can't wait to feel good ever for that. That's a non-event. When you're looking at artistry, 100%. When you're looking for inspiration to create, oh man, that's what we talk. That's called flow psychology. That's a whole different domain. We don't want to go in there. We won't go in there today. That's just too complicated. But for you specifically, I think you're actually just, I'm an artist. I'm waiting. That's an identity. I'm an artist. I'm this. That's an identity. Any I am statement. Well, why don't you say I am the type of person that no matter how I feel, I'll go in and train. I am the type of person that I didn't do too well at that comp. Fuck that coach, but I'm going to show him, right? Like they're both the same. They're identities you choose, right? So what I'm saying is that for the technique approach, for the lessons, the groups, I think that'll really benefit you a lot. In terms of the inspiration and like waiting to create, all that, like I said, you do need to have those moments come to you. And sometimes they come at midnight, sometimes they come at 7 a.m. You know what I mean? But that's not what you wait for to go and train and get your dance skills improved. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. You're making it so much clear, so much easier than I felt before.
Yeah. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just waiting. It's just a common issue, especially because the feminine is about emotions, right? It's all about how I feel. And that's beautiful. And then the difficulty is that those feelings, like who is creating those feelings? Where are they coming from? Am I in charge of those? Or I don't know. Like every moment I feel different, right? And then just keep in mind the difference between what we're talking about. The training and technique aspect of lessons and private lessons, they are about turning up no matter how you feel, all right, and sticking to that plan. And then the outcome of creativity is a whole different ballgame. So listen, I want to thank you for being here. You are beautiful. You are so wonderful. I've loved the fact that you've been supporting me from like almost day one. So thank you. Okay, it's the least I could do to at least help you a little bit.
You're the best. Thank you so much. You've like seriously, nobody's ever seen me this point, but thank you. Did you some Photoshop when you post this?
Oh yeah. What I posted, we're live,
yes.
anyways.
But you can change it.
I hope. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You don't need to change. You need to change the approach. You understand? That's all.
Okay.
Just change the approach.
Techniques.
Thank you, Beatrice. All right.
Yeah, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day, I guess.
Yeah. Nice. Bye. Bye. All right. That was awesome. Let's have a look in here. Mr. Peter Wickman, dance concert, self-improvement, enjoyment. Yeah, for us, was more about than the medals and the cups. More important than the medals and cups we win. Yeah, although it's nice to win. 100%. Yeah, of course it's nice to win. And exam results were good. Didn't feel like I enjoyed my dancing. Yeah, of course. It's difficult. So you're right on this one, Peter. Like winning cups and medals, that's great for you personally. I get that. Having the trophies, the medallions. At the end of the day, that is for your own glorification and to show yourself that you could stick to it and win in your own terms. And, but no one will remember my name or your name at the end of the day. It's for us. And I guess that's what the last call was about, is really helping understand that we can be our own worst enemy in that regards, but are also our own best friend. So it's definitely about shifting away from moving... This is where goals are so strange, right? Like goals are really strange because here's what I want you to do. This is an exercise that I run with myself, and it's about connecting from, let's just say you've got your physical body, your conscious mind, your unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, which is not a belief system, but it's something that is, even today, scientists can't explain it, right? It's just there's a sort of operating system underneath the operating system, the way we think. This is the way I look at it. And so what guides that? Well, often we get these hunches, these intuitive insights, these flashes of inspiration. What these things are so unknown, right? Like, where do they come from? And you could say that it's one idea latching to another, and then it formulates another idea. But how do you know when you get the wrong vibe from someone? You pick up on that, don't you? When it comes to knowing where you want to go, what you want to do, is this the right thing for me? And this is good for you too, to Beatrice, but everyone. Don't look at what other people are doing. Get inspired by them. But don't look at like Ricardo and Yulia and say, oh, I want to do that. Look at that and go, that's inspiring. I would love to dance like that. And then go inside and close your eyes, and you can ask yourself, like, to what level do I want to dance to? Now, this might sound really strange at first, but you start at the beginning level. Let's say even if you're an advanced dancer, you actually go back and say, you ask yourself, like, I am a beginner dancer, and it won't feel right. I am a novice. I am an intermediate. I am advanced. I am an expert. I am a master. I am an amateur champion. I am an amateur world champion. I am a professional. I'm a professional champion. I'm a rising star. You'll notice that there will be a resistance that happens. The resistance is really important, because you'll get to a point, let's just say you closed your eyes and you did this now and you said, I am a world champion. You'll feel inside this lie. You'll feel inside this bullshit alarm, and it will hit you, and you'll know it's not true. Now, if you do this with money, it's the same thing. So if you're like, oh, I earn $1,000 a week, I earn $10,000 a week, you'll start to know inside, deep down, that doesn't feel right, doesn't feel right. So there's a ceiling there. Now, this ceiling is very, very important, because that's what other people think you should do because of marketing, what you watch, what you take in, what other people tell you, and then what is true to you. And your beliefs guide this, yeah? So if you're saying to me, I want to be an amateur champion, and you're a beginner, that's so far in terms of gap that you know it's not true in the present moment. Like, deep down, you know it's not real, yeah? Okay, so but it doesn't mean you can't close the gap. But as you start doing the work, you'll notice, like, it's not fitting. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that often you've either hit your ceiling and you haven't pushed through and broken through in terms of your beliefs and the way you practice and operate. But you also haven't found sort of where your groove is. So, for example, I know where my groove is with things, with dancing, and where that sat. Could I have done more? Sure, always. There's always this idea of, like, you could do more. But you know where you sit. That's the space that I want people to find. Some people are very comfortable being medal dancers. Some people are very comfortable being low-grade competition dancers. And some people want to be top pro-am competitors. Great. You'll know that's true to you, but not because of the ease at which things come, but by which you keep breaking these barriers to the point where you can't break the barrier anymore. So the top spot is not open to everyone, right? Number one in the world is not open to everyone. Doesn't matter. Your top 100 competitors in the world, they're all good. Like, you can't say number one is 100 times better than number 100, okay? It doesn't work like that. But there are sort of internal ceilings that we all have, and they're very important to listen to. So for you, Peter, like, you won your accolades, you did those things, but the person you became in that process is more important than those accolades. For Beatrice, the person you become in the process of turning up when you didn't want to is more important than going after something you think other people should make you do, right? So pay attention to that little internal voice and that little guidance system inside you, because it matters. It really matters, because if you push too far, so for example, if you're in debt, like in a lot of debt, serious debt, like hundreds of thousands of debt, maybe millions of debt, and you say to yourself, I'm a billionaire, that is not going to be congruent with your current values, belief systems, your actions, your habits. And so you actually disservice yourself trying to think like that. But it doesn't mean you say to yourself you're in debt. You try to push yourself to where the ceiling is, to where you know bullshit is, right? And then you get to the ceiling as quick as you possibly can, and then do it again and move to the next level. And eventually there's a level you hit where you go, okay, I don't think I can get through this, but I can change the strategy. So for example, for me, I went from competing in dance sport to pro-am, went from that to doing things online, into teaching, to running a studio. So there's different sideways moves you make with this idea. Anyway, it's a lot more than I wanted to talk about today, but it was very, very cool having you here. And I hope you got a lot out of this giant series. If there's anyone else that has a question for me, now is the time. It's a good space to be in. It's actually a good time of day. And let's play that music one more time. Let this roll. Smash the like, by the way. Smash that like. Smash the like. Let's go. Thank you, everyone. All right, there's always a bit of a delay. I just want to thank you all for coming in, and I will catch you in the next impromptu live. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your being here. Make sure you hit the replay, hit the 5 stars up on Spotify, iTunes, and whatnot. Share it with your friends. Visit boringmastery.tv for free training. Subscribe to the channel. Lots of cool things coming your way, and I appreciate you.